Welcome to On the JoB with your host, LeAnn Parrish, editor of the Journal of Business. On the JoB is about the Inland Northwest business community, where you'll hear firsthand the backstories from the men and women reporters at the Journal of Business. On the JoB is brought to you in part by McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. Here's LeAnn.
Welcome to the On the JoB show with myself, LeAnn Parrish, and LeAnn Bjerken, one of our reporters. How's it going, LeAnn?
Good.
Good. The paper came out today. LeAnn wrote the lead story for us, sitting down with Josh Neblett, who is the founder of Etailz, formerly Green Cupboards, and found out what's been going on with them since they were acquired for $75 million in the fall of 2016. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So what has happened at Etailz since that time?
It sounds like a lot of stuff, actually. In this interview, like you said, I had sat down and talked with their CEO, Josh Neblett, and we talked about some of the changes that acquisition has allowed them to make over there. A lot of additional access to more capital, which has allowed them to grow and invest in some new areas. So
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So what effect has that had on their sales?
So what we had reported was their second quarter revenues for 2018's second quarter were $51.6 million, which was about an 18% increase over last year's second quarter.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Good. And then what's been the employment trend at Etailz in that time?
It sounded like directly after the acquisition, they had a little bit of a restructuring with their workforce, but it's been trending up since then. They now employ about 288 people, so that's about 100 more jobs than they had prior to the acquisition in 2016.
And the layoffs that you refer to, that was, if I remember correctly, about 8% of their, so it came out to something like 15 people, made those up pretty quickly, and then have gone on from there.
And they've done a recent hiring event too as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, interesting. So they're at, forgive me if you mentioned this, but so what's their total employment now?
288, so just under that 300.
Yeah.
People.
Ticking up. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And in that context of the growth, they found that they needed more space than what they had. What did they do about that?
So they moved from their former headquarters on, I believe it was Spokane Falls Boulevard, out to the former Itron building in Spokane Valley.
Sure.
And it's about a 40,000 square foot space. It's got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And they took about, what would you say, about a third of the building or so of the old Itron building?
Yep. Yeah. There's still some other spaces where people are going to be moving in soon. I forget who it is.
Stay Alfred, I think, announced that they're moving in.
They're moving in next door.
Are they in yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Good.
So they're looking forward to being neighbors with Stay Alfred.
Yeah, well, two of the most high-profile tech companies, really, in the Spokane market, at least in terms of ones that have emerged over the last 10 years or so. One of the interesting things about Etailz is that it's really been, the story of Etailz is pretty well documented and is one of the big examples that people use of what's possible with a startup in the Spokane market. But their approach has evolved over the years, isn't that right? What did you learn about that?
So I was talking with their marketing director, Carrie Rhodes.
Sure, yeah.
And she was kind of explaining to me some of the changes in focus that have occurred for them over the last couple of years. They started out doing mostly online retail, but this last year they closed their direct e-commerce websites in favor of selling more products directly through Amazon and other marketplaces.
Sure.
So their focus now is on marketing and marketing strategies, both for their own products as well as brands that they're interested in working with. They want to help them to develop strategies to grow their sales as well.
Great. And then so the bottom line is they used to have their own websites through which they sold goods, and now they use larger websites such as Amazon, eBay, and a number of others. Isn't that right?
Yeah. A couple more.
Yeah, fascinating. So they've gone completely away from what they started doing in the sense of selling goods through their own websites. It's pretty interesting, and it sounds like it's working out pretty well for them.
It is.
Yeah. So one of the quotes that I thought was interesting was, I believe it was Josh who said in the story that they wanted the new space to have a similar feel to what they had in the McKinstry building down in the University District. So,
yeah, kind of that modern, fun, lots of collaboration happening all over the place. Just different places where the employees can kind of interact, and it's not so formal business room, bring your notes kind of interactions every time.
Yeah, sure. And so it sounds like it has a lot of features beyond the standard office space. Isn't that right?
Yep. I believe they said they have a yoga and bar studio. That's the ballet with the
BARRE.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. So one of those, some outdoor patio spaces, a cafe. It's such
there's a volleyball court, right?
Yep,
yeah,
exactly. A volleyball court. It's just such a big space that they actually have little scooters their employees can kind of ride from one end of the building to the other to get back and forth to their workspaces.
Yeah,
so
Oh, that's great.
Pretty fun.
That's great. And if I remember correctly, it was about 4 times the size of their old space. Isn't that right?
Yep, and they've still got a little bit of room to grow too. So.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, please check out LeAnn's story right at the top of the front page of the Journal of Business, or read it at SpokaneJournal.com, along with a couple other really good pieces that LeAnn had this time. Thanks for talking to us about Etailz today.
No problem.
Yeah, have a good day.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Custom lighting in the kitchen.
I'm into it.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground. Be prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and the description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
Welcome back to On the JoB. I'm here with Samantha Peone, reporter at the Journal of Business, and we're going to talk about one of my personal favorite things that we do, which is Rising Stars. A section came out in today's paper. We're having an event tonight, September 13th. If you're watching this live, starts in about 3 hours, and pretty excited about it. First time we've had an event to go with the section, and should be a pretty good one. So Sam wrote a couple of stories for this section. Would you mind giving us just a little bit of an overview of what we did here?
Yeah, so Rising Stars, this is the 5th year that we've done it, so I don't know what page it's on, but we have a beautiful page with just a hefty page now, actually, of previous winners, and a few of them will be speaking on at the event.
Great.
So we have 10 Rising Stars this year. There's a panel of people that elect those Rising Stars. All of them are under the age of 40, and they're just kind of different, maybe a real estate developer. It could be a whole group of people, any industry that's really just sort of up and coming and forming Spokane is the big one. So.
Yeah, that's great. And so, you're right. We had 5 panelists, 4 of whom are past Rising Stars who evaluated nominations. This year, I don't know if you know this, we had 130 total nominations.
Wow, no,
for,
I didn't.
For about 100 people. So some people got multiple nominations, and then we had to take out the people who, had previously won, the people who were from the Tri-Cities, because that was a little too far away. But Sam's our real estate reporter, and we had a couple of our Rising Stars this year who are in the real estate construction industry. People I believe you've talked to before, isn't that right?
Yeah. So one, Jordan Tampion with 4 Degrees Real Estate, I've actually talked to a handful of times for a bunch of different stories. He's really chill about it, so that's good.
Yeah.
So he is a real estate agent, and it's interesting, he's done a number of different jobs, and he came originally from law, which I thought was interesting. So he graduated from Gonzaga Law School, and then he worked with SNAP, which is Spokane Neighborhood Action Partners, the local nonprofit for those of you. And he, in his own words, he fell in love with real estate while working with them. He managed their multifamily projects, that kind of thing. And so he got involved with that, and that's sort of how he became involved with real estate. Got a job with the Wazoo extension program, WSU, and then kind of moved on to his own company, which is now, the commonly known as 4 Degrees Real Estate. Yeah. Although technically they're Tampion brothers. But,
yeah. Right,
so
right.
yeah, and then go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I thought it was interesting that one of the probably the impetus for his company was that it was becoming difficult to manage the properties that he had acquired on his own while working a full-time job. Isn't that right?
Not a problem most of us have.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
But he already had like 50 living units at that time, isn't that right?
He did. He had
something
50 units,
something
crazy like that. And he just couldn't manage them while working full-time, which... again, I think is pretty impressive. But so he just decided to kind of do that.
Yeah, well, that's great. Now, I don't expect you to have the details, but off the top of your head, can you tell us about a couple of Tampion projects that you have reported on over the last year or so? Yeah.
So they just moved in, or they just purchased, hedge that a little. They just purchased a new building for their headquarters. Actually, I think LeAnn covered that one, not me.
She did. Yeah.
Yes. And then they also purchased, or I guess when I say they, I mean Jordan, and I want to say his brother, and then 2 other developers purchased the old Watts building downtown. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Just has Watts Automotive kind of in big letters downtown.
On the west end of downtown.
Yeah, that's it. And so they're kind of developing that. I want to say into like a brewery kind of pub and restaurant combination that they're working at, so that kind of thing. And then there are a few other projects as well, like the 10 to 14 million 7-story mixed-use building that's also going on First Avenue. So kind of that little pocket right there of real estate. So
yeah, well, it's fascinating. Fascinating. A lot of good stuff going on there. And so Jordan's one of the 10 people that we'll honor tonight. But you also talked to Brooke Baker-Spink, business development manager at Baker Construction, family company. And I have to tell you, one of the things that I liked about that piece was Brooke had some of the funnest, the most fun quotes in the whole Rising Star section, I thought.
I really enjoyed writing that piece for that reason, too. Yeah. Going back through my recording, I was just kind of laughing, kind of transcribing it. She was talking about how initially it was a kind of difficult to transition into a construction position when she joined on to Baker Construction as their community development manager, I want to say.
Okay.
That's not her exact title, but
sure.
Yeah.
Business development. She's basically in business development, which she says is basically sales.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So she said it was kind of difficult to transition to at first. In her words, she was more puppies and candy canes, but she drinks more, she cusses more, and she's fitting right in, is what she says. So, yeah.
That's great, and she's getting stuff done. I mean, you had a number in there. I want to say it was securing $40 million in work over the last few years, and definitely becoming one of the leaders within the Spokane business community. No doubt about
absolutely.
it. Yeah, great. Well, event tonight, you're going, right?
I am. Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah,
At
I have
the
to talk.
McGinnity room.
Yeah, McGinnity room, 5 o'clock. Tickets still available if you get there on time. So join us if you like, and check out Sam's stories in the Journal or at SpokaneJournal.com. Thanks for joining me today, Sam.
Yeah, of course.
We'll talk to you soon.
On the JoB is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. On the JoB is brought to you by our friends at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. Ask Lynn a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com.